single-cell complexity proves evolution is wrong. Scientists a century ago believed the smallest single living cell was a simple life form. The theory developed that perhaps lightning struck a pond of water, causing several molecules to combine in a random way, which by chance resulted in a living cell. The cell then divided and evolved into higher life forms. This view is now proven to be immature to the degree of being ridiculous.
So it goes in to say that evolution made the claim that lightning struck a pond, and that's how we got life, or the single-cell organism that was the beginning of all life. Well, no, evolution does not make that claim. Evolution and abiogenesis are entirely separate. They're just entirely separate topics, and I'm not gonna get it. I'm not even gonna get into the validity of abiogenesis on, its statement. I've looked into a little bit on how, water and cosmological evolution. I believe that's part of that, and how it got to Earth. But I'm not even gonna discuss the validity of abiogenesis. Entirely different topic. That's another video. That is a complete other video in itself. I've already done almost 3 on this guy. Well, this is gonna be the 3rd one. And then at the end, he says evolution does not make this claim. Evolution describes what happened after the beginning or the origins of life to now. It does not describe the beginning on how life got here. So, there are experiments that tried to prove, how these amino acids and proteins form. Not even gonna go there yet. Another video. And then at the end, he claims, I don't think he's talking. Let's quote him. The cell then divided and evolved into higher life forms. The view is now proven to be immature to the degree of being ridiculous. Okay, I think I don't know if he's talking about the lightning striking the pond. I don't even know about that claim. And he says, if he's talking about the cell then divided and evolved into higher life forms, I don't know if he's talking about that. But if that, he's just wanting it to be untrue because he doesn't agree with it. But whatever, let's move on.
The theory of evolution claims that organic life was created from inorganic matter. That is impossible.
The conclusion that Darwin reached, and I think many naturalists reach naturally, is that we're all to have a common ancestor. We're all descended from the same thing, right? Whatever that thing is. And people throw out the word single-celled organism, archaea, or something like this. But there's no evidence on Earth so far that there's any other way to do it except with DNA. So the thing that is fascinating is Charles Darwin wrote this book where he has the theory and the experiments. He was quite a diligent experimental in one volume. And he didn't know about DNA.
Yes.
He didn't know about genes as such, genetics. He didn't know what we think of as genes. He didn't know chromosomes, really. He just was like jamming, looking at his collections and reaching amazing conclusions, world-changing conclusions. Got to respect that.
Which have since been confirmed.
Oh man, every
DNA
which way.
And
every which way.
Chromosomes and genes.
So he then again makes the claim right at the beginning that evolution says that life came from inorganic matter. No, it doesn't. Abiogenesis does. Not going over that again. Please look that up if you want to. Evolution does not make that claim. I won't discuss the facts for evolution and how much evidence or not abiogenesis for how much evidence backs it up, but I will discuss how much evidence backs up evolution. Thank you. Let's continue yet again. And then he just adds this in for some reason. Bill Nye talking about DNA and his work. What was that supposed to make him looking like an idiot? Because at the end he talks about how he didn't even have DNA. That's true, and DNA now backs him up. I don't understand. A lot of creationists make the argument that it doesn't, but when we look at certain things like chromosomes and the difference between certain mammals, like how the chromosome. I will go over this later in another video. That's the next, like for the series I've already started. He says the chromosomes. The chromosomes. Humans have 23 chromosomes, and the primates, whatever, I can't remember the type that we that we're related to have 24. Now, losing a chromosome is fatal. This is basic. It's known that in science, if you lose a chromosome, you're dead. But looking through chromosomes and comparing them, we can compare them with major accuracy through the species that we are related to. It has 24, and we compared them to the one. We figured out that the second one in our row of chromosomes is actually 2 chromosomes put together, and they look exactly the same as the 2 from the one of the species that we're related. DNA backs them up. Phylogenetics, which discusses the traits of mammals and compares them. So, whatever. So I don't know if he's trying to make him look like an idiot there, but I digress. We continue.
DNA error checking proves evolution is wrong. The DNA repair process proves that evolution is wrong. It's a fact that any attempt by the DNA to change is stopped and reversed. Mutations, or DNA replication errors, are the result of DNA that is replicated with damage that passes on to the offspring. Mutations are very rare because of DNA checking and repair. However, 1 in every 10 million duplications of a DNA molecule can result in a mutation. The mutation changes are random, unpredictable errors that cause crippling diseases, loss of function, and the destruction of the host person or animal. Mutations destroy the species. They do not improve the species. Mutations never lead to a new species as falsely claimed by evolutionists.
So, can we get any more wrong? I don't think so. So he begins off by stating that any attempt by the DNA to change is corrected. No. Well, first of all, DNA does not attempt to change. The environment causes the DNA to change. It's not something that DNA wants to do. As mutations in DNA, of course, can cause negative effects, such as cancer. So if any or if any change, I'm not even going to use attempt, does occur, and it's all just fixed, what cancer is immediately one thing that comes to mind that says no. And no, the error checking and repair system doesn't always work. I want that to be known. And there are mutations that survive from generation to the next constantly. I have a family history of heart disease, likely to happen in my 50s. Through generations, I have these genes that negative affect me. Are they negative? Yes. But are they mutations? Yes. And there's actually, from the source, the source is we are all mutants, measurement of mutation rate by humans by direct sequencing. Apparently, as quote, in total we can carry 100 to 200 new mutations in our DNA. This is equivalent to 1 mutation in each 15 to 30 million nucleotides. So, I don't know where he gets, hang on, let me find what he said exactly. So he says 1 in every 10 million duplications of DNA molecule can result in a mutation. I don't know. But then he goes on, he says, the mutation changes are random, unpredictable, errors that cause crippling diseases, loss of function, destruction of the host person or animal. So how do you explain adaptations? I'm sure he does believe in adaptations, like most creationists do, but they won't go in. They believe in microevolution, but they won't even, macroevolution. No, not a thing, because a 2,000-year-old book tells them that's not a thing. So, what about those? Apparently, we see adaptations, but DNA stops all of the changes that occur in the organism by self-repairing. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Let's move on to the next part. I'm sure it's great.
Order out of chaos proves evolution is wrong. The second law of thermodynamics proves that organization cannot flow from chaos. Complex life organisms cannot rearrange themselves into an organism of a higher form. This is scientifically backwards according to the second law of thermodynamics, which has never been proven wrong. This scientific law actually refutes and contradicts the theory of evolution in its entirety.
So, the good old second law of thermodynamics argument. We've never heard it before, right guys? Yeah, okay, we have. Just gonna admit it. But either way, the second law of dynamics states that, in my own words, I believe this is the correct way to put it, but as things get more complex in a closed system, I think it only applies to a closed system, and I'm not sure about an isolated system, but it does not apply to an open system. As things get more complex in a closed system, it gets more chaotic. Okay, it's a simple way to put it. The systems of Earth, such as certain environments, are open systems. They are not closed systems. They receive energy from the sun, and they can, it's affected by the sun. Whatever. We can go there. So this, simply, it's already done. There's the closed system. No, it's not. I think the Earth as a whole is a closed system, as it doesn't trade energy with the rest of the environment around it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but here we can already see that this is wrong, as the Earth itself, or the environments on the Earth, are open systems. So if it's second law of thermodynamics applies to closed systems. Things on Earth trade energy. It's open. Energy is traded. It's so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay, so it's pretty basic. I'm not gonna explain the open and closed system, but the second law of thermodynamics only applies to a closed system. So things don't get. So if it's in a closed system, things are more chaotic. But the environments on Earth in which organisms inhabit, not a closed system, it's open system. So we're gonna leave it at that. Give me some more information down below. Tell me, explain in more detail. Just explain in more detail down below, because I really don't want to go into it, but because it's pretty simple. Like it's just the Earth is, the environments on Earth are an open system. It basically contradicts that argument. So let's move on.
Chromosome count proves evolution is wrong. There is no scientific evidence that a species can change the number of chromosomes within the DNA. Each species is locked into its chromosome count that cannot be changed. If an animal developed an extra chromosome or lost a chromosome because of some deformity, it could not successfully mate. The defect could not be passed along to the next generation.